guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna over here. I am a real estate agent here in Philadelphia. For those of you guys, it's your first time to my channel, welcome. On my channel, you are going to see a lot of day in the life vlogs, my opinions that I give it to brand new agents, be successful in this business. And then also at the same time, I'm very passionate about fitness, so you will also come along with like a lot of workout videos and motivational stuff. So consider subscribing because I post 3 times a week. Anyway, let's get into today's topic. In today's video, I want to talk about, is there just any discrimination in real estate? And to answer that question, I'm not really going to directly answer that question in this video, but I am going to give you guys my background and a few story examples, and then at the end of the video, I'm also going to give you guys 3 takeaways. So let's get into the video. And the first thing that I want to let you guys know, I came to America when I was 17 years old. I came here to attend an international school. I was living in a boarding school, but I was born and raised in Shanghai. I speak both languages, and I fully understand the difference between both culture. The difference. So when I attend the high school, I will often come across with people that ask me, and they're very interested in where I'm from, and they say, hey, I also have another friend, and he's from China. Do you know that person? And I'm like, yeah, but China is huge. It's like the same, it's like even more population than in America. I'm not gonna know every single person in China. And then also I will come across with people in my high school, and they will ask me things like, hey, do you guys eat dogs? And just hearing that question, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to answer that, because yes, some part of the China there are people eating dogs, but do I personally do? Not really. I mean, I just like it kind of makes me like don't know how to answer that. I don't think it's discrimination. I just think it's like the stereotype that they have with, you know, associated with like Chinese people. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know I wasn't really sensitive back then because it was my first time in America. I was really young. I don't really know anything about discrimination. I just find that everybody is really interested about me, of where I'm coming from, and they just ask a lot of like questions. And now that I have been in the business in America for 10 years and I'm fully aware of this country, a lot of time people share their opinions. There are different colors people in this country, and there's different cultures, you know, and then also there is racism and there's discrimination, and it's quite a big of issue here rather than in China. So now with being in a real estate agent as a professional, do I come across with discrimination? And that's a really good question, because me personally, myself, I am a minority and I'm also a woman. So a lot of time they're come across with kind of both, or sometimes I do feel like being discriminated of being a woman, and sometimes I do feel like being discriminated as a minority. But that's not where my head, the focus is on, and I don't really wanted to emphasize like how big of an issue that is, because it could be a really big issue if you make it to a big issue, and it could be a very small issue if you just kind of focus on your productivity, and then if you just kind of focus on yourself. But I want to share with you guys 3 stories that I come across after being a real estate agent for 2 years. So the first one is, it didn't happen to me. It happened to one of my coworker, and she has been in the business for 5 years. She joined real estate and she became a real estate agent after she had her baby. So she's around like the age of almost like 35, and she came to America, you know, like a few years ago. So she came to America for like 7-8 years. So she does have a very strong Chinese accent when she speaks like English. So what I know was my broker used to tell me that the agent had an argument with a buyer's agent. I don't know exactly what happened, but the buyer agent was really angry and then wants to file a complaint to my broker. So he called my broker, and then the conversation got heated because obviously my broker was, you know, trying to back up his agent. So the agent just kind of like lost it, and then he said, yeah, but you know, she speaks broken English, she doesn't know anything, blah blah blah. What I heard with the conversation was, she speaks broken English. But in my opinion, anybody who's in this business, who is a professional, it doesn't matter if you spoke broken English. As long as you're experienced, you have incredible reputation, you have integrity, and I think these are more important than your English. Who cares about your spoken like broken English? As long as people can understand you, that's fine. So that's one that I felt like, because her English was bad, it's her second language, that she was being criticized by other professional in the business. And I think it's crucial, and then part of it, I think it's discrimination to me. The second story that I want to tell you guys was, I used to do a lot of cold calling. If you guys watch my previous video, you know when I do cold calling, I used to say, hey, this is Luna, I'm calling from this Chinese real estate company, you know, blah blah blah. And then the way I do it is because there's so many agents from like Remax, Keller Williams. It's very well known brokerage. If I just say, hey, this is Luna with Canon Realty, nobody's gonna know who that is. But if I say, hey, it's from the Chinese brokerage on what street, that way it creates a familiarity. It makes them know exactly where I am. And if they're familiar with the area, they will know there's a lot of Asian investors, Asian people who are buying in Northeast. They will know that. And I think, to me, it's an advantage. And 95% of the time it is. However, sometimes it does come across with those angry sellers, and they will say things like, oh, I hate Chinese people. Why are you calling me? Like, I hate Chinese people. I'll never sell my house to Chinese people in a million years. And they just buy real estate and they trash properties and blah, blah, blah. So I don't really take it offended, but I think that could be an issue with, you know, discrimination. I don't know. But, you know, that's just the second story. But last story I want you guys to know is this. I've had a deal 3 months ago, and the deal fell apart. It's really complicated. Long story short, my seller cannot settle because the wife's credit score was really bad. So she told me that, you know, she can't sell her house anymore. However, the house is under contract and everything is done. Appraisal is done, inspection is done, every negotiation is done. We are just sitting on to claim the checks in 2 weeks. And buyers already quit the job. Buyers are already ready for the relocation. They're moving to the new house. So for me, it was definitely like, wow, is this really happening? You know, but then later on, I talked to the buyer's agent, who's also an agent in my office, and she's very angry because she represents the buyer, and now it's like, you know, like we need some compensation. So I tried my best to negotiate the compensation down from $5,000 to $1,000. So my seller needs to pay $1,000 for the buyer because of, you know, the inspection cost and the appraisal cost. So my seller couldn't really afford the $1,000, so I contribute a few $100s on my own, and we, you know, just kind of like whatever. And I was under the impression that my seller cannot settle because her credit is really bad. She doesn't want to risk in moving into a rental house. However, after 2 months, I find out that they are actually secretly trying to list with another agent. And after all the work I have done, they are still in contract with me. They're still, because we signed a 6-month listing contract, so technically they're still in contract with me. And the agent in my office wanted me to sue the seller. So the story doesn't end there. She wants me to sue the seller, and she said, you can't let people step on your toe like this because you're Chinese. You really need to step up, because people are under the impression that Chinese people just kind of, you know, take everything in. They don't really complain, and they just want to know trouble. And she said, this is discrimination, and you really need to do something about it. And it's mind-blowing to me because this is not a matter of discrimination, in my opinion. I just think it's a loss of, you know, being in the business, everything is risky, right? So I can either focus on the problem and, you know, really trying to get compensation and go to court and sue my seller and get my commission, or I can just take this as a lesson and move on and be efficient and focus more on cold calling and then get better seller. I would much rather get better seller than just focus too much time on this and then keep myself really locked down to this discrimination issue. But anyway, I did not end up suing my seller. I just don't feel like doing it, and I didn't call my seller, let them know that, you know, I find out that they're trying to list the house, whatever. I just kind of want to let it go. I'm talking about it right now on my channel is because, one, is 95% of the people that you're gonna speak to, they are going to be, they're not gonna list a house just because you are Asian. Other reasons that they want to list with you, maybe because they didn't really want the way you represent, they didn't like the way you do your marketing, they didn't like how you didn't listen to them at the presentation. You know, you can make the problem like because you are minority or because you're a woman that they don't want to list with you. But I never really think that could be the reason. I mean, 90% of the time I think that's not the reason. And I think people, what they really truly care about is who are the agent that can get the job done nicely, who are the agent that's more professional, who can get them more money. I think that's what they care about the most. And secondly, discrimination, I think it comes down really is a part of the result of being the difference in a culture difference. You know, I think as an agent in this business, you really need to have an open-minded thinking and keep everything positive. Like, don't go back to negativities, don't overanalyze things and then, you know, make it to a problem and then make the problem bigger and bigger, and then you just kind of drain yourself going through like all the struggle and the stress. I think that's the last things that you would want as an agent in this business. Do not let one person's opinion stop your productivity, your production, and what you can really achieve. So I hope in this video I answered this question, and I hope you guys enjoy my video. Thank you so much for 7,000 subscribers, and this is Luna over here. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.